Hi kids, how you doing? Nice to see you here. Right, today, let's cut to the chase. Today we are going to be looking at the Nord Micro Modular again. I'm going to be showing you how to make generative ambient pads. We're going to start with a little bit of music theory because you're going to need to know it in order to be able to generate the pads. I need to explain maybe a little bit about what generative music is. And then I need to show you how to make it all work on the Micromodular. The music theory is just going to be about scales, keys and chords. And very, very simply, scales are groups of notes that are collected together and are in the same key. And a key is something that sets the mood for a song. So you've heard about major keys and minor keys. Major keys being a bit happy, minor keys being a bit more melancholic. There's more to it than that, but basically keys are what allow you to create the emotion in a music. And then chords are quite simply those notes in a scale which are all in the same key, which work well together. When we talk about them, we talk about in terms of intervals. All notes have a name and it goes from C to C, so it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C, and that repeats over and over again. And then you've got intervals, which are first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then the eighth is back to the first again. And you will hear chord sequences spoken about in terms of the intervals and chord structures being made in terms of the intervals that they work at. That way you can start on any note and just refer to the intervals to construct the chords. You can also refer to chord progressions in exactly the same way using intervals. So really, really common chord progression. First, fifth, sixth, fourth. You'll hear it everywhere, and then varieties of those. So what we're going to generate today is going to be based upon the first, which would be our root chord, the fourth, the fifth and the sixth intervals from C, which is going to be our root, and that is what we're going to use to generate the ambient chord pads. Once we've had a look at what those intervals are and what the root notes of those intervals are, then we can start to see what notes we actually need in order to construct our piece of music. And here I've laid them out. All of those chords will be constructed with the first interval, the third interval and the fifth interval. That's what we will use to generate the notes for the pads. What is generative music? Basically, generative music is music where you as the composer, the producer, set the parameters for the music and then you let random elements generate the music for you. So we have to determine what notes are allowed to play, and that's why we needed to know a little bit about the music theory. We need to understand what notes can't play at the same time because we want them to make sweet harmonies and not discordant, although there might be a bit of discord because we might not be able to work it out perfectly. And then we need to have those notes generated by a tone generator so that we create a sound, and we need to time those notes so that they overlap so that there is some degree of it wafting about. We don't want to be left with gaps and with silence. First job is to create a pad making instrument, and I'm not going to go through that here. I've done it already. I've shown you how to do that. Hopefully up here there will be a little link that will show us how you can make that. Then we need to get a clock source so that the pads will all play together and play at the same time. And then finally we're going to need to make some random note generators, and that's when the music will start to come out. The pads, the nice floaty atmospherics will come out. Okay, so we already have our tone generator, which we're going to use for the pads. You can see how we can make it, I think, up here. Now we need to make this useful, so I need to have an in-out, so we'll be able to hear what's going on. I'm going to have 2 channels out, and I'm going to tie the stereo together. Then we will need an LFO that will act as a master clock. So I've got a little clock generator there, and I will put it on that point there. And the next thing that we need to do is we need to get it so that it's going at a nice slow pace. We don't want it too quick, because otherwise it will be 16ths, it will stutter along. We're making ambient pads, so we're not looking for something syncopated, we're looking for something smooth and wafty. So I'm going to go to the logic, and then I'm going to select clock dividers, but I'm going to select fixed clock dividers, and there's a reason why, because I've got that bit more control, and if I ever plug this into an external clock, then there will be that little bit more control over what's going on. However, one clock divider is not enough. We're going to put 2, so we're going to stack them up, and that will slow things down really nicely, but in a regular musical way. And I'm going to take 4 pulses out, put that into the clock, and then take the 8 out and put it into that clock there. And that is the basis for our timings, and it's that simple. Now we need to make a note generator, and again, this is really quite a simple thing to do. So we need to go to the LFO, we pick a clocked random step generator, and we put that in there. And then we need to go to the control tab. We're taking those random steps which come out of the random generator and saying we want to convert those so that they play notes and specific notes. So there is a key quantizer, and we put that key quantizer in there, and I take the click out of there, step 8. So now it's getting a pattern. I need to swap this down. At the moment the range there is a full 128, so that's 7 or 8 octaves. I can't remember how many off the top of my head. I think it's 8, which is much bigger than we need. We really want to reduce this down to 1 octave. That needs to go right the way down to plus or minus 6. So there are 12 possible semitones, and that generator goes into there, and this generator plugs into the pitch. So that's our note going on. Of course we wouldn't hear anything yet because the envelope is not getting triggered, and we need to pick the notes, and I think C, F, G and A, and then we need to get the sound out, and we're going to have 3 of these pad generators, so I need a mixer for that. So I've got mixer here, mixer section. There's only going to be 3. Put the 3 notes in there. I'm going to use a band pass, so I put that on there, and then I take that click out, I'll put it on there, and the output goes to the output, and there we go. We have sound. But this is only part of the story. Remember, we want 3 notes sounding because our chords have got 3 parts. So I copy that and I put another one in there. And remember what I said, we need another note, random note generator, because we want a different set of notes for this next pad. So I'm going to take that, copy it, okay. I want it to work at a slightly different timing, so I'm going to take the 8th triplets and I'm going to put it in there, and we will change the notes. think that will do. And that goes into that pitch there. And that trigger goes in here. But I want this to be at a higher octave, so where the master oscillator says coarse tuning, I'm going to tune it up 1 octave. And then take it out and plug it in. Balance it down on the mixer a little bit. And then we want to do the same again, so another note generator. And I'm going to take a different timing, so I'm going to take it out the 16ths and I'm going to put it in there. So this should come in and out a little bit quicker. I want an E. And then into the gate trigger. And there you can hear all 3 parts. But there are moments where they're changing together, so there's another little trick that you can use that will help change just how they play together and make them waft together a little bit more. And that comes back into the logic section, and we use this little device here called a logic delay. And with this you can add a certain amount of time on so that everything will come a little bit slower. So I can add up .5 seconds, so it comes in a little bit slower, and I'll get another logic delay here, and I'll put it on this one here. And that's all there is to it. You can hear chords are always evolving and gradually changing. Okay, it's been a while since I've done a Micromodular one, and I quite enjoy it. I like patching with the Micromodular. If you have enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. If there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe and come back. If you saw my last jam, you might have noticed an addition to the studio, and I'll be talking about that, I think, fairly soon. As they say in the Serious Cybernetics Corporation, share and enjoy. See you again, kids. Bye.